Hi Peaches, it's Shaaba, welcome back and thank you for clicking on today's episode. It's Monday, you know what that means, it's time for us to go fishing for a-holes. Do you know who else loves Mondays? Nemo. Do you know who else loves Mondays? Surfshark. A huge thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. If you do not know by now, Surfshark is a VPN, a virtual private network that has over 3,000 servers all around the world that help keep you safe and help you unlock all sorts of things with a virtual location. That includes unblocking content libraries from all around the world, which means you can watch your favorite films and TV shows no matter where you are, including at the bottom of the sea. Films like Finding Nemo. You see what I did there? See what I did there? I swear to God, the first time I watched Finding Nemo, that opening scene left me so shook. Do you remember it? Doesn't matter if you don't. Take a seat. Let me recap it for you. Marlin lives in the deep blue sea with his son Bingo.
His son Bingo! Nemo!
But Marlin has hashtag trauma and all he wants is to keep his little squish safe, but he's not safe and instead his son gets kidnapped. That's right, Chico.
Nemo. Right, got it.
So Big Daddy Marlin teams up with the very forgetful Dory and they hop onto their 5G and use maps to go on an adventure across the sea, en route to finding Fabio.
He's lost his son, Fabio.
There are jellyfish that surround them with ads everywhere. Then there's this anglerfish that pretends to be really cute when really it's this nasty ass piece of malware designed to f Marlin's phone. But the worst of all are the seagulls. Those nasty little things make so many phishing attempts to try and steal Marlin and Dory's personal details, including their credit card information. But it's all good because just before they thought they were done for, Surfshark pops out of the water and saves the day. He pachowed the jellies, karanged the anglerfish, and pat the seagulls by masking Marlin's IP address, encrypting his data, and blocking all of those nasty little ads, malwares, and phishing attempts. And those nasty trackers, whew, they then rescued Elmo.
Nemo.
And gave the whole school of fish, including you watching this video, this link, surfshark.com/Shaaba, and this QR code, very cute, you can scan it right here, and the code Shaaba to use at checkout, all of which get you 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN to keep you safe online for longer. Thank goodness for Surfshark, eh? The end. At least that's how I think the movie goes. I say it enough, you know that I use Surfshark every day on all of my devices, including my TV, to help keep me safe. They also have this really handy cookie blocker too, so you don't have to spend ages clicking on all the little options. I think it's bloody amazing. You can use Surfshark on an unlimited number of devices, and there's also a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there is no drama here at all. If you're interested in Surfshark, get your little butt downstairs in the description box where you can find the rest of the details, but for now, let's get on with the show. You're through to 1-800-DRAMA, the show where you share your biggest dilemmas and I help you navigate them. I'm Shaaba, and with your help,
and sometimes mine,
let's help people figure out if they are the drama, because sometimes you just need an outside perspective and we can all expand our own mindsets along the way. Are you ready to dive deep into the a-holes? Let's go. Alright, am I the drama for partying whilst dog-sitting someone's dog? What? You threw a party at a house that you dog sat at? I mean, do we need to read this post to know that this person is the drama? OP says, I use the Rover app to connect with clients and babysit their dogs overnight. There is one client that's been recurring. Rover. I feel like that's supposed to be something dog related. Or is it the name of like a famous dog? Rover the dog? Is that a thing? Clifford the dog? I don't know, there's like no relevance to the post. It's just something that's going to keep me up at night. Anyway, OP continues. Basically, my Instagram is public, and whilst I was babysitting their dog, they were stalking my Instagram posts and stories from a burner account. Oh, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's your job, babe. Do you know what I mean? Like, someone is wanting to check up on their dog. Fair. It is public. It is out there. The word stalking makes it sound bad, but they're perfectly within their right to do that. And honestly, every time that I have used a pet sitter, I'm like, please, can you send me some photos? And they're like, absolutely. So like, I know I don't need to stalk. They were stalking from the burner account and saw me partying with my friends, going on a boat, etc. Oh, wait, so you left the dog alone? This is marginally better than having a party at the house. Yes, this is better. I had to think about that for a second. But you left the poor dog alone and then went off to party? OP finishes off by saying the dog is fine and well fed though. They confronted me about it and said that I'm the drama for partying for long stretches of time and not looking after the dog, which they are paying you to do, right? I clapped back and called them creepy for even stalking me on Instagram. So am I the drama? Yes, bro. Yes. Oh my God, you are so the drama. Imagine having the audacity to come onto this forum and be like, oh, I had a job that I was being paid for and I didn't do that job. And I brazenly showed online that I wasn't doing that job. How dare they find out? How dare they have a go at me for not doing the job they've paid me to do? Where are some people's brain cells? It is not just me that finds this very bizarre. You are absolutely the drama. There is no excuse. I find it really rude that you are trying to turn this back on people who are trying to look after their baby, who are looking at their baby and being like, oh, how dare you check up on me when I'm doing my job. You're just sad you got caught. You are the drama. Obviously, do your damn job. Also, not terribly bright to be posting all of that on Instagram and then getting bent out of shape that people are looking at it. You just lost a loyal customer and a word of mouth business. I could not agree more. It's worse to me, and I don't know if this is like the correct way to be thinking, but this is just how I'm personally feeling. It is worse to me that someone has come on here and is brazenly trying to defend it rather than they did it in the first place. The fact that OP cannot see that what they did was so wrong, boggling my mind. You are the drama for not doing the job that you were paid to do. You're also the dummy with a public profile that apparently is easy to find. I mean, yes, but also, are we trying to suggest here that it's totally fine for you to fob off your caring responsibilities as long as you're doing it with good sneak? No. And look, I'm not saying that you can't go out at all, right? If you are pet sitting, I've had this before happen to me. I've also seen other people do this with their pet sitters too. They might be like, yeah, sure, I can come over this time, but I have this commitment during this one period. You got to tell them in advance. If you're not telling them and you're leaving them for a large chunk of time, especially dogs, right? Because I don't have a dog, but I'm certain that the time limit is like 4 hours. Regardless of whether you feel like you've fed the dog enough food, you've got to be there. You're getting paid to do the job. Do the job. That's it. Do the job. If you're gonna go, clear it in advance. Do not have a go at people. Oh, silly. Oh, drama. Okay, I have to disclaim I'm feeling particularly spicy after that last one. I'm not quite sure what got to me. I think it may be just the sheer dumb confidence of the drama wholeness of that last OP. So be warned, next OP, you got a spicy Shaaba here. Flip! Am I the drama for spending money saved for an engagement ring on a tattoo? Oh, this sounds sad. OP says, a bit more than a month ago, my now ex broke up with me out of the blue. I'm sorry. Also, I'm now getting the vibe that maybe that money was for an ex's engagement ring, in which case it's no longer going to engagement ring, which I can understand a lot more. Let's see. I don't want to go into the details, says OP, of the relationship or the breakup, but we had been talking about marriage before the breakup. No. We had settled on wedding bands and an engagement ring, and I'm by no means well off and arguably live paycheck to paycheck, but I managed to always pay my bills, save money, and budget money for fun. Things like concerts, fancy dinners, trips to Ren fairs, cons, rallies, randoms events, etc. When they say Ren fairs, do they mean like Renaissance fairs? You know, like when you like dress up or like fancy and you're like, here, and you eat turkey off a leg? Because I've always wanted to go to one of those. They look so fun and they look so expressive and free. It's very cute. It's a good vibe. Opie continues, while still doing all of this, I managed to put aside several thousand for the engagement ring that she wanted. After the breakup, I decided to spend that money on myself. My heart feels heavy for you, OP. I see you. I hear you. I'm also curious as to why that breakup happened. I totally respect that some people don't want to go into that kind of information and you may feel like it's not relevant. The reason that I'm asking is because I'm left questioning, is there any chance that you guys could end up getting back together again? Because that's a little odd, right? To be broken up with out of the blue when you're this committed into a relationship, you're talking about marriage, you've got engagement rings picked out, you've got wedding bands picked out, like that does something that's not adding up. I've seen one too many times people break up, leave for a little while, and then come back and be like, oh, I thought I could do better off out there alone. I cannot. I'm coming back because I was initially scared of commitment. Let's get married. And I learned that the hard way because I used to think that the role of friendship was to smear the ex, was to trash talk the ex, but it's difficult when the ex could then potentially come back and be part of that relationship again and you're like, oh, I thought I was being supportive, but now I see that this was just a temporary thing. All of this to say, if it really was very out of the blue for the ex to break up with you and you would consider maybe being in the relationship, I would maybe not spend that money without at least knowing why the breakup happened to know if it's like super definitive. That's where I was going with that. Let's continue reading Opie's post. So Opie decided to spend the money on themselves. I bought myself my favourite bourbon, a case of my favourite cigars, and finally finished a large tattoo sleeve that I've been working on for 2 years. Tattoos do be spenny. I see you. And I know I said all of that stuff beforehand. I just feel like people can't make a fully informed decision as to whether they want to continue to be with someone or not if they have no idea why someone broke up with them. But if you you know why, or if regardless of the reason, you know, like deep down, this relationship is gone. It's done. The ship has sailed, as they say, to 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. Then, I mean, you do you, babe. You spend that on yourself. I think a tattoo and some little treats for you makes sense. I personally never understood whiskey or cigars, but you know, that's your thing. I'm not judging you. OP says the issue came when I started casually seeing a young woman. Let's call her D. I knew D before I met my ex, but we were more acquaintances than anything else, just due to life stuff. And honestly, because I only had eyes for my now ex from the moment that I first met her. But we knew enough about each other that she was familiar with the fact that I'm not one to just casually throw money around. Interesting. Since this money wasn't budgeted for or anything, well, not since the breakup, and let's be honest, I'm heartbroken, I've been a lot more willing to just say F it and spend money. Oh, OP, retail therapy, oh no. Tonight, says OP, I met D for dinner and drinks, and during the drinks part of the evening, she noticed my fresh ink and jokingly asked me if I'd gotten promoted or hit the lottery. I do get where the question is coming from. Is that like maybe a little bit forward for a first date? Yes, but you are saying that you've been friends beforehand, so I guess that makes sense. When I explained to her where the money had come from, she got real serious and told me that spending it like that was disrespectful. Oh, to the ex? Is that what D's saying? It was disrespectful of you to spend your money that you'd saved up on the ring on yourself after she broke up with you? Sorry, I'm using a questioning tone and digging into it a bit more because that's not quite making sense to me. I don't know why D, to be fair, I have no idea why D would have any say in the matter. I don't know why D feels like D has a say in the matter. But even if D was like just saying this from a friend's point of view, how is it disrespectful? Is it just me that's confused? OP clarifies that it was disrespectful to have saved that money for something beautiful, and by, quote, wasting it, it proves that I never cared about my ex. How? What are you supposed to do? Spend that money on a ring anyway? Spend that money on D? Is that what D's thinking? It's a bit early, babe. Oh, this is bizarre. D ended up leaving me at the bar where I am currently typing this up because she was upset with me. Maybe it's the fantastic cocktails blurring my judgment, but am I the drama for spending my money? I really don't think you're the drama, but I also feel like I'm walking into a trick question. I feel like D's behavior here is feeling more out of the blue to me than the fact that your ex broke up with you. I'm so confused as to why D would say that and get that upset to leave a date partway through. And you know, maybe I would understand it like a little bit more if D was friends with your ex, but it sounds like D was just friends with you from before. There's no mention that they're very close to the ex. I don't know. All of which leads me to think that there's more to the story that we need to understand, because when things don't make sense, there's a reason why things don't make sense. And maybe it's got something to do with the breakup. Does D know about that? Like why? As in why you guys broke up? I'm assuming so, because it feels like quite a big thing to just explain to D real quick that you had this savings amount and blah 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 for the ring, and now you've spent it on the ink and that's why. You could have just been like, oh, savings. But you didn't. You went into that conversation, so I'm assuming that the breakup was also therefore part of that conversation. So maybe that's the bit that I'm not understanding. Or maybe I've just like really gotten the wrong end of the stick. And if so, Peach, and you're looking at me like, Shaaba, how can you not see that this is disrespectful? Please do enlighten me in the comments. As far as I'm concerned, that is OP's money. OP could have spent it on a ring for ex's engagement ring, but OP also could have not. And considering the fact that they're not together again, there is no claim on that money whatsoever. If we extract what happened and stick it onto another context to like road test the principle alone, imagine a situation where two people were in a relationship and someone said, you know what, I'm saving up for my half of a mortgage deposit. I've got 10 grand in my account that I'm putting together for our house, and for whatever reason, that couple then split up, they're not together anymore, and they both go their separate ways. Would anybody expect that person to hold that 10k and not spend it, and spend it in a particular way because it was supposed to be that house deposit? No, that would be silly. It's your money to do with whatever you wish, because the plans that you were making are no longer your plans, right? This isn't a trick thing. I'm just overthinking it, aren't I? Let's see what other people have to say. Not the drama. This commenter says, I don't know how old you are, but I'm almost 33 and I regret not getting tattoos I wanted when I was younger because now I have kids and responsibilities and I can't fathom getting a tattoo for the foreseeable future. I mean, I get what this commenter is saying, but I just want to say, like, 1, 33 is still hella young. 2, even though you've got kids and responsibilities, you can still get a tattoo. Like, save up for it. I get it, they're pricey, right? But I feel like it's an important PSA to be like, 33-year-old parents can get tattoos too. This commenter continues, you'll meet someone that is right for you and save up new money to spend on that, but the money that you had saved for your ex's ring could have been spent however you wanted. Your new friend was lucky that you didn't just go to a strip club with it. Okay, I get it. Maybe D was assuming that you would therefore keep that money for the next person that you were with, and that you would therefore spend that engagement ring money on your next partner, of which D may have been. But it's still weird for someone to feel, especially on that first date context, that they could, one, say anything about your money, but two, be so offended that they end that date early. That's bizarre to me. OP actually replied to this comment and said, I'll be 49 in April. I'm covered in tattoos now, but I saved the right arm specifically for the sleeve. You know what? I'm happy for you, babe, that you did your own tattoo. And thank you for sharing that you can get tattoos at any age. Not the drama. Be careful in choosing women. Oh, I don't know why, but that comment just feels really funny. Do you know when things are just coded in like a red flag way? This is one of them. Be careful in choosing women. Be careful in choosing your words. Another commenter says, it sounds like she was mad that you didn't spend the money on her. Do you know that's initially what I thought too? I was like, surely D would not be thinking about it in that way. It's the first date. I don't care if you've had a friendship from before and she understands your spending habits. You don't. You just don't impose yourself in that way. The one way that I could see this potentially playing out, especially now knowing that OP is 49 years old, is maybe that dating at that age does tend to get a little bit serious a little bit faster. And maybe the idea that you spent the money that you initially kept for an engagement ring read to D as, oh, I don't want to get married. I'm not taking this stuff seriously. I don't want to focus on commitment with anyone that I'm with. I'm just spending that on myself and like having a grand old time, you know? And then maybe D was like, oh, these values are not something that I would want in a person. But that doesn't explain why you would say it's disrespectful to the ex. I mean, what seems mostly disrespectful is the fact that the ex broke up with you out of the blue. That's why I'm so confused why D would have anything to say on that front. Again, all leading back to why did you break up, and maybe that's the missing link that makes all of this make sense. Spoiled brat. Thank you, commenter. That is such an insightful contribution. I'm sure OP is very grateful for your time. As a woman, says another commenter, I say not the drama. You are saving the money for a ring that you no longer want to buy. It's your money. You can do what you want with it. D sounds jealous, but I'd spend some time alone and see what you want in the next relationship. I mean, I do think this is just sound advice generally. Do spend some time thinking about yourself, focusing on yourself, deciding what it is that you want. Yes, but I also see that as a totally separate point to what you do with your money. Even at the age of 49, it makes so much sense to me that you'd like want to be like, okay, well, I'm myself now. I'm assuming you're in a long-term relationship. OP didn't actually provide any details of how long that relationship was, but to be talking about wedding and marriage, I'm assuming that this is not something that was just like a month old. In which case it makes sense that, you know, as a free bird now, you're wanting to do things for you. If not then, when? But despite D's bizarre behavior and the fact that we potentially have this missing link of the breakup reason explaining D's behavior, I think it's safe to say that there's a consensus that OP is not the drama in this situation. What do you think, Peaches? Feel free to share your thoughts downstairs, but just remember to be kind. Drama! Alright, am I the drama for not telling my friend about a job opening at my workplace? OP says I, a woman, have been friends with Sarah, another woman, for years, and recently she's been struggling to find a job. I've been helping her as much as I can, editing her resume, sending her job postings, and even connecting her with people in my network. I genuinely want her to find something that she loves. So why are you not telling her about the job opening at your workplace? I don't know if you heard that, but my tummy rumbled as if to be in harmony with my singing, so it must be true. Here's the thing, says OP. There's a position opening up at my workplace that I know that she'd be perfect for. Oh, and in this economy, this feels like it's gonna hurt. But, says OP, I haven't told her about it. The truth is, I'm worried that if she gets the job and we start working together, it could mess up our friendship. Oh. We have a great dynamic outside of work, says OP, but I've seen friendships fall apart when people become co-workers. I'm afraid that the stress of the job or the possibility of competition could strain our relationship. Oh no, here's my problem. I can kind of see where OP is coming from, but I also see it as a bad friendship move. But then, is it a bad friendship move if it's preserving the friendship? What does one prioritize in a friendship, the bond or the person? My gut is telling me the person, but you can only do that if there is a friendship bond connecting you guys together in the first place. I think I'm having a bad ADHD day. I think my brain is really overthinking these things. Let's get to the end of the post. I feel terrible, says OP, for not telling her about the opening, especially since I'm actively helping her look for other jobs. I know that she's frustrated with her job search, and I hate that I'm keeping this from her, but at the same time, I want to protect protect our friendship. So am I the drama for not telling her about that job opening? My gut is telling me that you're the drama, OP. I'm just going to stick that badge out there first whilst we brew and whilst we explore the topic, because my gut instinct is telling me that if you really care about someone, especially in this huge cost of living crisis, especially where it's just so goddamn hard to get a job generally, there is so much competition, there's so much unemployment, and this is the perfect job, as you have said, with you, and there is no like definitive signs, right, that it's going to go wonky or haywire in any way. You're just saying maybe it could go fantastically well, and you guys could build a fantastic friendship together. I just feel that this is really insensible balancing of where the potential costs very much do not outweigh the potential pros of the situation, especially for your friend. I think that's what the biggest thing is for me. I'm like, wow, by not telling her at all, what you're really doing is being a bad friend. I'm trying to think about this not from OP's point of view, but if OP was to put themselves in their friend's point of view, knowing how hard it is to get a job, knowing that this person is kind of helping you in other ways, but keeping this information from you. What would happen, OP, if your friend came across this job by themselves? Would you be encouraging them not to go for it? Like, how far does this go? The more I'm talking about it, the more I'm feeling that this badge of you are the drama is the correct badge to be giving. There's only two real reasons that I could see my opinion on this changing, and that's if one, OP is actually lying to themselves about the reason they don't want their friend to get the job. Maybe their friend is particularly smart. They feel challenged or threatened. They mentioned the word competition, right? Perhaps this job would mean that they would end up in some way sort of like working in a team with a different power dynamic, or they'd feel threatened in their ability because of this other person. All of which I could genuinely understand, but I do think if that is the case, OP would need to be honest with themselves and let us know, and I guess just acknowledge it and accept it themselves fully, that it's not because of a potential risk that a friendship could go wrong, just willy-nilly, but because there are like genuine reasons that they're feeling that could be the case. Or the second reason is that perhaps whilst they're a wonderful friend, you know that there are certain traits that they have that make them not a fantastic work partner. And there are so many people in my lives that fit beautifully in some buckets and not beautifully in others. For example, I have a bunch of friends that I absolutely love so dearly with my entire heart, but I would never, ever, ever want to live with them. I feel like doing that would cause our friendship to end very abruptly. Similarly, I have wonderful friends who I love, but I could not work with in a very close capacity in the same way that I work, for example, with Jamie. And that doesn't mean that you're not good friends with that person. If there are certain situations that work brilliantly with them and certain situations that don't, it just means that you're great friends in certain contexts. Certain values really have a fantastic compatibility and others not so much. At the same time though, I think the one thing that is making me feel particularly icky about this is the fact that you're lying to your friend and not saying it at all. I feel like what a friend should be doing, the right friend move, would be to say, hey, there is a job opening here, but I want to be really honest with you that I'm having some fears that this could affect our relationship, and then explain that why. I think it's important to let your friend make that decision for themselves, because the icky bit is the fact that you are keeping this from them when it could be a really wonderful thing. Maybe if you told them this and then you explained why, they'd be like, you know what, our friendship means more to me than this potential job opportunity, so I agree with you. If you are also concerned about that and I see this being a potential, then why risk it? I won't go for this job opportunity. Let's not put our friendship on the line in that way. In which case that can make your friendship even stronger. But I do think the fact that you are lying and feeling guilty about it, like very clearly feeling guilty about it, is definitely going to cause some level of resentment, because the truth always comes out, babe. I don't know about you, but honesty is like pretty high up there on my list of friend priorities. You are the drama. You're not her friend, and when she finds this out, your friendship will be done. You don't do this to your friends because you trust them and you know that they won't betray you, unlike you and what you're doing now. Oh my gosh, this comment feels so brutal, and to an extent the truth hurts. I do agree with the sentiment that maybe this isn't the friendliest move to keep that from someone. And again, I wouldn't be saying this if there was like an abundance of jobs, if the job market was flowing, if cost of living wasn't so high, but seeing as your friend is like really trying, and you, someone else, is actively trying to help them apply for jobs, it does feel icky. It's not feeling right in here. At the same time, I do think that this comment is maybe being a little bit idealistic and being like, you don't do this because you trust them and you know that they won't betray you. Actually, you have no idea how that could go. It is absolutely a possibility, as OP is saying, that maybe their friendship could be altered if they end up being colleagues too. We don't know how close these job positions interact. We don't know if one would essentially be managing the other, which could also really change a friendship. They always say, right, don't mix personal with business, and this is absolutely what you would be doing. So I understand the potential fear fears that OP has. I just don't think it's a justified excuse for lying. But I don't think that this commenter is therefore doing the right thing by being like, oh yeah, stick your head in the sand and just pretend that everything will go okay, because what happens if it doesn't go okay? It's healthier to acknowledge the potential problems and be able to have a plan to work through them instead of pretending they don't exist at all. Another commenter says, well, you can preserve the friendship and continue to watch her struggle to pay bills, or you can flip a coin and help a friend out of misery. I would rather flip that coin. See, it's funny to me. I agree with this, but I'm also not seeing this really as a decision that just you should be making on whether to flip the coin. Tell your friend. Have that conversation. If you're friends, that means that you guys share things with each other, right? Say that there's this job opportunity, but also say, oh my goodness, I really, really don't want our friendship to suffer. How do we make this not a coin flip? How do we make this not a 50-50 chance that our friendship could be affected? Are there boundaries that we could be putting in place to ensure that at work we're just colleagues, we're not friends? Everything in work stays in work and everything outside of work stays outside of work. Maybe that would be like something that you could explore. And also considering within that, right, if that's a realistic thing that you guys would be able to do. Some friends would be really good at that. To be like, no, we said we were not going to talk about it. What did I say fries before, guys? Separate things. The pact is there, the boundaries are in place. Other friends are just like, well, look, I know we could potentially say this, but let's be real. We're not going to be those kinds of people. And if I'm managing you, things really could get a little bit pickly. But even so, the fact that you've had that conversation and that there is no lie and you can come to that decision together would be way better for your friendship, I think, than continuing the lie that is currently happening. You are the drama, since you should want the best for your friend, and obviously that's telling her about the job. If she finds out that there is/was a job at your company, how do you think that will affect your relationship? That is a very good question. And ultimately why I think it's just nice, right, to serve your friend's best interest, because isn't that what friends for? To look out for you, to sometimes give a little bit of sacrifice when you're in need. I feel like this is definitely one of those situations. Oh my goodness. Good luck, OP. You are the drama. Friends don't do that shady stuff. Tell her. I really appreciate this comment and the fact that it's tell her, not tell her to apply for the job. I'm actually not sure if this commenter was supposed to make that distinction, but I want to make it really clear that there is two levels to that. There is telling her about the job opportunity, and then there's encouraging her to apply for the job opportunity. Those are two very different things. And you can absolutely tell your friend whilst also expressing your concerns and reservations. Or not the drama. I can totally understand why you wouldn't mention the job to her. And that's interesting because I can understand it too. I just don't think it's the right thing to do. I have a solid rule at the age of 56. Never work with friends and never befriend colleagues outside of work. It causes way too many problems long term, says another commenter. I respect that age comes with experience. I really do. At the same time, how do you not befriend your colleagues outside of work? I feel like it's really context dependent as to how realistic that is. There are some job fields which are so all-consuming that if you were not friends with the people at work, who else would you be friends with? Like, you could have no social life, and that would be really sad. I've seen countless examples, way more examples of people being friends with the people at work and that going really well in comparison to examples where people have been colleagues and fallen out as friends. So I don't know. I feel like this may be a little bit too black and white of a rule, but again, I get where it's coming from. I do understand that the mixing of the business and the pleasures and the pleasures and the business can cause problems long term. Absolutely. Do what feels right for you, says somebody else, not the drama. Oh, well, there you go, Peaches. There's a real mix of opinions here on the forum. What is yours? Feel free to share it. I think I'm sticking with my You Are the Drama badge, but I will add a little condolences badge because I can see how it's being done from love. I can see how it's being done with the intention to protect the friendship. I just don't think that ultimately you are doing that because you're having to be a bad friend in order to do that, if that makes sense. You know what I'm like. Communication is key. And either way, babe, I wish you the best of luck. Oh, drama. Alright, this last submission is from one of our very own Peaches over from the subreddit 1-800-DRAMA. If you'd like to submit your own drama or help other Peaches out with theirs, you can do so over at that subreddit. The details are downstairs in the description box. Floof! Would I be the drama? I love a good would I be the drama if I refuse to accept a birthday gift? Just in case people are like, why do you love drama? What, Shaaba? What? The reason that I love a would I be the drama as opposed to an am I the drama is that the drama hasn't happened yet. There's even more chance of avoiding drama and fixing things, which just makes my heart happy. Let's see if we can help this Peach out, okay? Blind Lover, hello Blind Lover, is a 32-year-old man and and says, my birthday is later this week and I don't know if it's a good idea to accept a gift from Free Spirit, a 29-year-old man. I love these names. I'm really confused by the title. Why would it be bad to accept a gift? A little context, says Blind Lover. I met Free Spirit on a dating app in November 2023. He said from the very beginning that he didn't want any kind of relationship. It was just to have some fun together. I was fine with that, as I didn't want a relationship either. I think I'm seeing where this is going. We started to get along very well, texting each other every day, asking how was the day, wishing a good night, and good work. I love that. Good night. Good work. I've never heard that as a phrase before, but I'm going to try and start using it. Good work to you. Good work to you. We started to have feelings for one another, says Blind Lover. He stated that he misses me. We lived pretty much like boyfriends and we lived a love story. That is very cute. It sounds very much like a rom-com I'd watch on Netflix whilst eating a giant tub of ice cream. Blind Lover continues, for me, it was perfect. I really have strong feelings for him. I even dare to say I love him. And I don't use that word lightly. I'm really hoping we can fix this. When he saw what we were walking into, he said to me that he doesn't want to be in a serious relationship ever again. He was married for 6 years to a woman, and as he told me, it wasn't a good experience for him. That's such a shame. I hear you. And I also hear the trauma that Free Spirit is expressing to you as well. That's quite rough. At the age of 29 as well, if you were married for 6 years, that means like the earliest being in that relationship at 23? Well, no, it's earlier because you met in November 23 on a dating app. So I'm assuming that that means Free Spirit's last relationship started at the very latest at the age of 21. This is why I need Jamie here for the math bits because my brain's not very good at that math, but I'm hoping I worked that out correctly. That's really young to be getting into a relationship like so committed, to be married for 6 years from the age of 21. And I'm not like putting any judgment on that. I guess I'm just noting it, especially because Blind Lover's using the L word. I'm like, oh, if you guys could be in a relationship and want to be in a relationship, if you both actively want to be in a relationship, it would be sad if trauma is what stopped Free Spirit from being able to do that. That's what I'm suggesting. He said that he was only willing to be friends with me, nothing more. Oh, I really wish I'd read that sentence before. So it sounds like what Free Spirit has done is really enforce this boundary that's not even like friends with benefits, which it may be what you were. Wait, let me confirm that. Yeah, you were living like boyfriends. You were living a love story, right? And now it's like, no, friends. Only friends. In that sense, I can see how maybe this is not something that is fixable and why you would want to keep that distance. And I'm assuming this is where the birthday gift comes in. OP continues, as I was deeply in love with him, I tried to only be friends just to be able to be around him, but it was killing me slowly. I can't just be friends with the person that I love. That is when I decided to end things between us. It's now been 2 months since we don't see each other anymore. Even though we had an amazing love story, I want a life story. I totally understand this. Bless you. And that is really freaking hard. Oh. Let's get to the end of the post. OP says, there's no question in my mind that he really likes me too. And I'm pretty sure that he's going to give me a birthday gift, but I'm not sure if it's a good idea for me to accept it. Because it's been a very difficult process to get over him, I'm making progress slowly but surely. Each day gets a tiny bit better. And now I, Shaaba, feel like a real bloody idiot because if this peach is watching this video, I've just gone and been like, la la la, love story, fix. No, I'm so sorry. I should have read through the whole post first. Ignore what I said beforehand. Honestly, Blind Lover, babe, you need to protect yourself first. If Free Spirit is not making themselves available for you, you are doing absolutely the right thing in prioritizing yourself, because whilst Free Spirit may have their own journey and that maybe will lead to them being open to relationships again, or maybe it won't ever do that, you deserve to not have to hang around if that is a decision that you have made. You will find a love story. You will find a life story. I'm manifesting it for you. Choo! Each day gets a tiny bit better. It's not that I don't want to accept it because I don't like him. It's quite the opposite. I don't want to accept it because I love him and I think it will only make things worse for me. So would I be the drama if I don't accept the gift? And thank you very much for your cute little comment underneath. No, you are not the drama. Absolutely not. I am so sure in my conviction. That is how sure I am. You need to do what's right for you. I cannot really relate to this experience properly. I can relate, however, to having an ex and having a period of time where you're not necessarily acting in your best interest because the echoes of what was are too difficult to let go of. I think that's something that a lot of people will be able to relate to, as is, I'm sure, that feeling of making that definitive step of being like, you know what? This shittery cannot continue for too much longer. We need to put a stop to this this cycle that is clearly not helping anyone. And then you put that thing in place, and then sometimes people slip and they fall back into their old habits. Dua Lipa, right? She told us, don't do it. I feel like you not accepting this birthday gift is you sticking to that boundary and being like, look, no, we have to move on from this. If you are really, truly not going to be in this relationship, then we can't be friends. You channel that inner Ariana Grande, you stick to your internal strength, and who knows, maybe this is not the right thing to be saying, but hear me out here though. No, I do think it's only fair to explore all the options. It may be that you being so strong with your conviction and being like, no, I'm prioritizing myself here, which is absolutely the right thing for you to do, will make free spirit feel like, oh, I need to have this person in my life, and maybe that is worth exploring whether my past relationship trauma is something that I could evolve away from to still be in relationships. If, as you say, OP, you really like free spirit, but also free spirit really likes you. You know, that feels like such a shame that there is this obstacle. And whilst you can't force that person to do it, and I'm not saying that you don't accept the gift and you stop having a friendship in order to try and make that happen, I'm just saying that it is possible that that could be one solution. Another solution, however, could be that that is just the way it is, and you therefore get one step closer to living your best life as someone who can enter a relationship being as committed to someone as they can be to you, because that is absolutely what you deserve. And honestly, both of those sound like a win to me. So yeah, I feel like I've squeezed every little bit of toothpaste out of that tube of trying to make you feel better, that this is absolutely the right thing for you to be doing. I wish you the best of luck though, Peach, and if you'd like to update us later on, please do so over on the subreddit. And also, happy birthday. I'm sorry, I know this may not feel like the happiest, but I really hope you have a wonderful day. Eat lots of cake, hang out with your loved ones, and enjoy the sunshine. I'm manifesting sunshine for you too. Other Peaches listening to this episode, if you'd like to help Blind Lover out, please feel free to do so. You can leave your own comment on the subreddit post itself or downstairs in the comment section of the YouTube video. Thank you so much everybody for joining me on this one. I feel like I started off really spicy and ended up, I don't know, I'm not spicy anymore. I feel like I'm manifesting flump. Do you know what I mean? I want to be a cute little squishy marshmallow for Blind Lover to feel protected by. I'm gonna end this video now before I continue saying very weird things. If you enjoyed this episode, do give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you'd like to see more. It really helps us out. And the other thing that's also super useful as a baby podcast is if you rate this podcast over on Spotify or where all other podcasts live. You can rate each individual episode as well as the podcast overall. I will love you and leave you for now, and I'll catch you next time with another video. Be kind and have a great day. Bye. It's been one of those days, Maddie. It's been one of those days. It's fine. No, Peach, you are absolutely not the drama. I am so... I'm gonna take a moment.